So when you're changing strings, here are some things that I think about, maybe you haven't thought about if you pick up anything from this grate. Number one is just making sure the nut slots are letting your strings really slide smoothly through them. And for instance, I just got this guitar, it was strung up with 9s, and I usually use 10s. So, you know, I just keep some cut up pieces of string to check. These are from 10s, and I was able to check real quick like and see, oh, this nut's already cut to accommodate 10 gauge strings. So no problem, I can string it with 10s. If I checked it and it wasn't, well, then my choices are I can either keep it with 9s, or I can, you know, grab some nut slot files and just slightly widen out the nut slots to accommodate the larger strings. If you check and the strings you're going to put on are not smoothly passing through that slot, and you don't fix it, you're asking for trouble, because it's going to hurt your tuning stability. If there's binding up here at the nut, it's one of the worst things for tuning. So you want them just sliding nice and smooth, and if the nut slot is too narrow, you got to widen them out, or you got to use smaller strings. I've already cleaned this one, but I'll show you anyway. This stuff's called Mitchell's abrasive cord, and it's basically like dental floss but rough on the outside, and you can just go back and forth between the nut slots like that and quickly clean out any gunk that might have built up. And if you're like me, you see a lot of guitars where people have put old nut sauce or different types of lubricant to try and lube those slots, and it just sits there sometimes over years and turns real gunky, and what was actually meant to help string lubrication in the slots ends up hurting it, because it's dried up and it's now impeding string movement. So get anything like that out of there. If they're really bad, fold a piece of sandpaper in half and just gently go back and forth in the nut slots, and that'll clean out any junk that's built up over time. I like to check the nuts. If your tuners are the type that have nuts on top, just check to make sure they're all tight. And we're not talking about super tight, it's just you know, making sure they're snug, because if those things start moving around, again, your tuning stability could get hurt. If you are one of those people that uses nut sauce, graphite, you know, which is basically like pencil lead, you can go ahead and do that. Just make sure if you're going to do that, you keep up with it. So, you know, within a month or two, or whenever it is you next get a chance, take a look and make sure it hasn't dried up in there and it's not like impeding the strings movement, and that way your tuning won't suffer because of it. The other thing you can do is clean the top of the nut. It makes it look so much better. Take a little abrasive cleaner of some kind, just put a little on top, go back and forth, really clean that nut up. One thing I sometimes do, if I feel like it really needs it, maybe I'm experiencing some tuning issues, just take a pencil, shred a little pencil graphite into the slots. I'm just taking a knife and doing like that. That's one easy way to do it. You don't have to buy anything. Anyway, that's just a few things you could think about when you're doing a string change that will make your guitar actually really play better. To know that all your strings can freely move through the nut is a really important part of a guitar. Playing well, staying in tune well, not binding up here, making strange sounds when you tune. If you tune your strings and you hear little pings or pong, little sounds as you're tuning it, you may have some binding at the nut. It can also bind other places, but I think the most common one is right there, those nut slots. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys. Bye.